This is your daily strategic dose by Kevin Moore.
What's up? Good day to you. Hey, have you ever been around somebody who just seems to have incredible capability to get so much done? Have you ever been around someone who just seems like they can handle so much more than the average person? Like they can handle a lot of stressful situations or a lot of different projects or just a lot of different heaviness of life. They just have a higher capacity. That's the word we're talking about today, is capacity. Well, how do you increase your capacity? I mean, if you've ever looked at other people and thought, man, how come they can take on so much and I don't feel like I can? That's typically because they've actually exercised capacity. That's an important word, exercise, because we're used to this when it comes to the gym. Like nobody ever goes to the gym and thinks that they're going to bench press like a heavyweight lifting champion on day one. It doesn't make any sense. Like we assume that we're going to have to work our way up. We're going to have to grow. We're going to have to push. We're going to have to be there consistently. Well, it's the same exact thing with capacity. If you want to be able to take on higher levels of things, which you have to do, I mean, responsibility, taking on responsibility and taking on more responsibility and bigger responsibility is going to push your capacity to its limit. But here's what happens. Just like the muscle tears, like when you actually grow a muscle, the reason why the muscle grows is because when you're working it out and you're pushing hard, you're actually tearing those muscle fibers. And it adds up scar tissue and resilience and strength as a byproduct. And that scar tissue and growth, that's the reason why your muscles start to grow. You're actually tearing it down and it's building back stronger. That's the same thing that you have to do with capacity. When you take on a lot, where you feel like you're over your skis, like you're about to fall over, and you maintain that for a small period of time, large enough for you to lift the lid, so to speak, then you could start to increase your capacity because you're learning to deal with things just like your muscle is learning to deal with weights. You don't go from curling 25 pounds to 100 pounds overnight. It doesn't work that way. But when you do enough curls at 25 pounds and you wear yourself out, and then you bump it up to 27.5 pounds, and you start getting used to that, you're growing your capacity to handle weight. And it's the same exact thing when it comes to your capacity as a human being, to be able to take on new things. And it's very important because to grow your life in the way that I know you want to, or you wouldn't be listening to this episode, you wouldn't be listening to this type of content at all. You wouldn't be spending your time going through this kind of information. You're somebody who wants to grow. You want life to be better and different in the future than it is right now. You want to grow. Well, you're going to have to take on new levels of capacity in order to do that optimally. Now, I mean, if you want to increase your business or your income, your investing, or your health by 5% over the next 20 years, then you don't have to worry about this whole capacity thing. But if you want to do that in the next few months, then yes, you're going to have to increase your capacity, your ability to handle stress. Some people can handle it so much better than I can. Why? Because they've exercised more. They've been through more stressful situations. They've been through more situations they didn't know how they're going to get out of, and worked until it either got resolved or it didn't, and they survived. And that's what grew their capacity. I've got mentors all around me who have been further down the path of different areas of life than I have. So they've got different battle scars. They've torn down different muscles and had to build it back stronger. So their capacity is higher than mine. And mine is way higher than what it used to be. I mean, I remember when I started my first business. Next month, I will have started my first business 20 years ago. That just blows my mind. I cannot believe it's been 20 years. I mean, part of me feels like it's been 100 years, and the other part of me feels like I just got started yesterday. It's kind of a weird feeling. But 20 years ago, I started my first business, and man, I remember the things that used to stress me out. I remember the things that were just at my breaking point that I dealt with 20 years ago. I laugh at those things now. Like, how did I get so stressed out? It's so overwhelmed by such small things. But that's because it was my first day in the gym. It was my first day dealing with this whole capacity thing. It was my first day of stepping out as as an entrepreneur, as a professional. It was my first day of not knowing if I was going to make it or not having the skills necessary for success yet, not having any experience under my belt. Everything was new. Everything was the first day at the gym. Every phone call I made, every prospect I talked to, every sale I went to go make, every service I went to deliver, I was so new that I had such small capacity. And I've learned over the last 20 years on how to grow that. And it literally is just repetition, just like going to the gym. It's consistency and it's repetition on growing capacity. So the point of this episode today is let that encourage you, not bother you. When you feel like you're up against the wall of your capacity, that means you're growing it, you're pushing it. That's equivalent to going to the gym and giving it your best. I mean, yeah, you could go to the gym and move around some weight and sweat a little bit, but not give it your best. Or you can go in there and give it your best and literally give it all you've got. And when you can do one more rep, you do it. And then you feel like maybe you can get one more and you do it. And then you're like, I don't even think I can get one more, but you go after it and you're halfway through a rep and you fail because you gave it the best. You gave it your all. That is how you grow. So when you feel like you've given it your all, when you're at the end of your rope, so to speak, remember the importance of rest and recovery. We did an episode on that. It was titled The Thief of Productivity. And I definitely, if you didn't hear that episode, I encourage you to go through the feed here and get to that episode. It's monumental, so important. I mean, it is absolutely important episode. But my point is, when you feel there, make sure you do take rest and recovery. Very important. That's not the topic of this message, but I don't want you to kill yourself out there. But I do want you to push your capacity to its limits and then get used to that, because then you'll be able to break through to higher levels and your capacity will have increased. So let that serve you well, that stress is not always bad. Stress is actually very good, healthy stress. And how you deal with it is even more important. But again, that's another episode for another day. But grow your capacity by pushing yourself to the limit and understand that that is how you grow it to the next level. And one day, you too will laugh at what stresses you out today will not even remotely stress you out later on in life, because you'll grow your capacity. That's all I got for you today. God bless you. Make it a great day. Bye for now.
This is your Daily Strategic Dose by Kevin Moore.